All right, we'll go ahead and get started then. Just looking for a couple more people. So we're on the as we go around the trainings, we're on the third one, which is know the different types of ways we can do the solar for people, right? Which Tony, I think the only option in the market you'll be in is a purchase,
Right.
and so we're just getting the best purchase options we can there. So what we want to do, though, is go over the strengths of each different thing. So what we have a purchase, we have PPA, which is also kind of the same thing as a lease, or I just call them service agreements. Wally's almost a PhD in this stuff by now. He's looked at every kind, and he actually has every possible option in his market.
Except our own PPA. I'm still waiting on that one.
That one's going to be a little while, I found out recently.
Okay.
Did I tell you that?
You said we were running into some insurance issues. It may be a while, but that's okay.
Yeah. How's it going, Joe?
Hey, I'm all right.
Hey, I got your email. I sent out some messages about it. I called the actual loan company. Are you frozen, or can you hear me, Joe?
I can't. You're skipping a little, but
Okay.
You're
It might be
frozen.
something I'll go over with you after. Either way, I just want to let you know what I found out.
Okay, cool. Because I just wrote up another one.
Hey, when you go into the app, is there more options than just that one, the Easy Solar Loan?
Yeah, there are.
Is Enium one of them?
Enium is on there.
Okay, I want you to start.
Enium and
I want you to start to choose Enium, and here's why. In fact, this is part of the training today, by the way. We're going over all the different types of financing. So it's perfect timing. But the reason I want you to choose Enium is because for the first year, there's no interest, no payment. And as I look at your situation with the SREX and the rebates and all that stuff, it gives plenty of time for them to get all that worked out before they ever pay anything. And I think that's going to hold a little bit more weight for what you're doing right now as far as anything else.
so, all right. I'm going back to this one tonight with his wife and everything and writing it up. But I mean, I'll throw it out there for the 0% or whatnot, and he'll probably jump on board because he wants to refinance in about a year. So, that makes sense to him. No interest, he gets his money back. That'd probably work out better.
Is he considering refinancing
Actually,
now?
so. No, not now. So he wants to put the solar on the house, and then he's also building a 40 by 60 outbuilding.
Okay,
So he wants to get that done and then do the.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that no interest, no payment for a year is going to help like a lot in your case, right? Because there's just so many like parts that are going to take time.
Yeah.
And I was looking at them last night. I just didn't know if Enium was available there yet or not. If it is, I would steer you that way. I just think you get an advantage there.
So it is it'll pop up in some areas, but then some areas it won't pop up.
Right. And that's because, they service certain areas, or they're set up to service certain areas. So that's kind of on them as a lender, being ready to service a certain area or not. I think most of it's just compliance, right? Make sure that they're all they're all ready compliance wise. But yeah, that's why I was asking. Is in some places they pop up, some places they don't, and we'll go over that a little bit more. So here's what we're going over today. And Joe is probably the most right now in the middle of all the more turbulence as far as this stuff goes, and so it's a good one to be going over. You can do a purchase, we can do a PPA or a lease, or which is a service agreement, and then now we have it's a purchase, but we also can do a refi option. I didn't used to look at this as a viable option before. It wasn't a viable source. It just was too messy. But now there's a company that we're doing some stuff with that makes it streamlined and makes it work better. So that's coming. And then in Wally's area and where I live, there's a program called PACE, okay? That only applies to very few people right now. Tony, Joe, Lena, Max, it's not something that's in your area. However, it's a concept that I wouldn't doubt we might see it, you know, next year or something in your areas. It's worked out pretty well. And what it is it's just it's a way to incentivize people, homeowners, to do energy efficient products. It's not just for solar, but it works really well for solar. Okay, it's for doors and windows and all the stuff that Joe sells, other than solar. It's for all that, but he doesn't have it. But what it is, we're going to go over that real quick, just so you guys know what it is. So when it does come, you get an idea. It is normal financing, but the difference is rather than paying a regular bill online through the mail or over the phone or however you pay your bills, what they do is they put it on your tax line, right, for your property taxes for that property. So if it's a $100 a month bill, it's just $100 a month added to your property taxes instead of having a bill. Does that make sense? Now, because of that, what they do is they actually allow you to write that off. So as a person, just if you buy your energy that way, it actually becomes a tax write-off. So just like how you guys are all entrepreneurs and you're all out driving your cars and you're writing off every drop of gas and writing off everything you can, and the shirt Joe's wearing is a total write-off, all this stuff's a write-off, right? That's what happens to your energy. It's like now, because I did it through this program, which is kind of like a county program, it becomes a write-off, which I think is pretty cool. A little added benefit, Wally, for what you got going on in your market. And that's the only way you can have it be a write-off. There's no other finance options that do that. This is a special one, okay? And it's called PACE, and it's only available in California and Florida, and I think they just came on like one other place, and I don't remember where it is. We're not there. Wally knows where it is.
No, what I want to share with you is it is not in every county in Florida. I don't know if you're aware of that.
It's not in every county in California either. Yeah, it's only in very certain areas. So you.
Yeah. How does one go about getting that into a county? Is there, what is that? Have you looked into what that process is to get that to go into other counties?
Well, understand, so the PACE program is a program. Sometimes the county does have the program, but they don't have like a funder attached to it yet. Or they have a funder that we just no one's heard of, right? And so the way the PACE program works is pretty regulated. And so where it's a county-based thing, PACE as a program they're not the ones bringing the funds for these projects. We have banks that are qualified to lend to the PACE program, okay? And so the real question is, are those funding groups available in that county through PACE or not. And
Okay.
typically, the way it works is if one funding entity is in a city, then that's the PACE entity. And in the next city over, it's not them, it's a different one, right? So what I've done is I've just got the one that has the one. They're all different funding groups, so they need to be vetted. We vetted them. They need to have good customer service, good communication, all those things, but they also need to be available. So PACE funding, I gave you the link to it.
Right.
That's
And I went, yeah. And I went on it, and then I went on the state site, and that's where I saw that the counties that had it, unfortunately, the beachhead I'm trying to carve out here in Florida, 2 of the counties that I want to do most of my business in currently don't have it. So I want to figure out some way of figuring out how to do that. So
Did you look on the county, or did you look through the PACE portal to find out if it was available?
I didn't log into a portal yet. I want to have our meeting after this meeting before I do
Yeah, we'll
that.
talk about it.
We'll talk about that.
So
Yeah.
if you went to the county and they said it's not available, that's because that was their choice. They didn't allow it yet. Okay.
Okay.
You said PACE
So what I'm trying to
funding?
find out if it's just not available there because of the competition stuff, or if the county itself isn't participating yet. And some counties don't. We have them here in California. They're just like, we don't want to have that in our county.
I'll
Another
dig into that.
Yeah, that's all we need to find out. And what we do in that case is we take what's available to us, we find where it is available, and we just know and use it there, and in the other places take the next other thing we can do, right?
Got it.
So that's how that program works. Because it's goes on the tax line, it becomes a write-off. The write-off's good too. So that's a pretty cool option. Inside of PACE, Wally, you can do, typically it's a purchase. You can also do a PPA inside of there.
Okay.
There's certain ways to do it. Okay. The next one I want to go over, we're going to be starting a refi option, and it's called it's like a green lending product. I explained this one to Wally before because I think it's right up his alley, but this is why, Joe, I was asking if that guy was looking to refi sooner, because these guys have a certain product where they can come, we do everything on our end, and then we just pass it over to them. They're saying that by the next day, they can have everything ready to go for that process, okay? Joe's laughing because he's dealing with one that just told him like 2 weeks. So that's not even a refi. Huh?
Yeah, that blows my mind because, I mean, I don't know. I just, when I've done consumer loans in a house before, it's usually do the credit app. Once it's approved, you got a deal. That's it. And but now my concern with this 2 to 3 week kind of hold is there's nothing that holds them to me.
Right. So that case, Joe, that's another reason why I'm saying NEM is a good option, is because that thing you're dealing with, I called that funder this today. And I said, hey, tell me what you're saying, Joe, with that same product is how it is. I've gone into a house, I've qualified and signed the deal. 30 minutes, in and out, done.
Yeah.
And I called him today, and what's happened is that lending group, and this is a specific problem to them, took on too much business too fast. And what you're dealing with right now is their backlog. That's the bank's backlog. And so that's the case there. I thought there was some sort of process glitch or something going on, but I called in there and they're like, dude, we just took on, they have a mountain that they're getting through. And so they've stopped taking deals from a bunch of their partners. They kind of whittled it down. We can still do them, but this is for the Easy Solar Loan, everybody. This is an update type thing. These are the type of things we discuss that change every week. So Easy Solar Loan has a 2-week backlog. You can get the qualification and everything done like same day or within a couple days. The qualification gets done. But he's saying the process can take a good 7 days after that.
Yeah, they told me it's 2 to 3 weeks to get the docs in the homeowner's hand, which in my mind, just because it gets to the homeowner doesn't mean he's going to sign it that day. And
Yeah.
even if he does sign it that day, doesn't mean he's going to, email it back.
Right.
Or put it in the mail. So that's why I was like, well, gosh, just send me the docs. I'll print them out, go get them written, go get them signed. I don't care.
Yeah. So I think we can actually get the docs a lot faster than that. It's just the process is bogged down. We can do the docs and send them in. It's bogged down. And that's just the case. That's a easy solar loan specific. They have this huge backlog that they didn't have, that long ago, like a month ago. So the good news there is that means, so Easy Solar Loan is kind of the company that's decided to go into these markets that haven't done a lot of solar yet. So we have them available in every single market, where a lot of markets, they're the only ones available. So I look at that as a good sign, because what it means is that's what flipped them, is all of these little markets that everybody feels is not it's not a good viable market. That's where it's coming from, right? So it's a whole bunch of first wave just all over the map, and that's not just us solar grids. That's them as a lending source, right? And so that means it's out there. I mean, it's out there for you. But for not just the backlog reason, but for some other reasons, Joe, I think I would lean towards that NEM deal. I just think it helps. I think that the no interest, no payment for a year helps with, letting the rebates come around and all that stuff.
Do they buy similar? I mean,
What?
do they buy the same way that Easy Solar does? Like, as far as credit score, I mean, are they like, you want to sit, if it's no interest for a year, I'm guessing they want somebody in the 700 or better?
No, I think it's 660. It's about the same. Okay. Yeah. And I've done a lot with them in the past. I really actually like them as far as customer communication, customer service, stuff like that. I can vouch for them with quite a few accounts. They've done good.
Okay.
Anyways, I just think it solves the when you're dealing with rebates and other processes. Like it's nice to just say, hey, look, you're not going to pay for a year because it might take 6 months to get this other thing worked out. You know what I mean? And then you can get them to sign right then. There is no more like hang up. It's set up like that,
Does it quote us a payment? Yeah, it does with the NEM.
Yep,
yeah.
everything exactly the same.
Okay.
Yep, everything exactly the same.
Where's the paperwork? How do I sign the credit app and all that stuff? I gotta have to go get the NEM.
It's all pretty much the same. It might be a little bit more even simple than the Easy Solar Loan.
All right.
Jump on, watch the NEM video. It'll tell you exactly what to do, like step by step, bullet point, do this, do this, do this.
Right.
It's been a while since I personally did it, but when I did it, legitimately all we did was call in, and they just we did everything over the phone, application, everything. And then while we sat there, they emailed over the paperwork and we finished like all at once. It was simple. If that's still their process or not, I don't know, because processes have been like changing tons. And so double check, but you'll find when you watch that video, you will find a phone number to them. And the easiest thing is to just call them and say, hey, I'm ready to go into one now. Please guide me, make sure I do this right. And I can tell you Enium is actually really good at that. They'll just say, here's exactly what you need to do. Just call us, you know, whatever. They'll walk you through it. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Going back to the refi option, this will be available to you guys. The refi option is they're actually able to take this green loan, is what they call it. And when they go to appraise the house for the refi, if you have your solar contract in place, they will evaluate that home as if that job's already done. They'll put the value into the appraisal. Okay. So then when they refi it, they just take that money, and that's what, you know, they're the ones that, you know, kind of pay everything out and make sure the solar job gets paid for and all that from that point on. And that is available to everyone. The reason I bring that up is because you will run into this a lot, especially right now where a lot of people are refinancing right now just because rates are good right now. Fact check me on that, Wally. To me, they seem good.
They're very good. I'm in the process of doing 2 refis right now, and this green mortgage is interesting to me. So there's a lot of people where I'm working right now. In Florida, we've got an issue with asphalt shingles. Insurance companies hate them. They don't want to cover them anymore. I'm running into some people that are saying, well, I only have a couple years left on my roof. I don't want to do solar now. I need to do my roof first. Can they do a roof through this program?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to open up a lot of business for me. And the thing is, the increased value of the solar offsets the cost of the roof. They're basically doing it for free.
It's crazy. Yeah, we do a lot of that here.
Okay.
It's pretty nuts when the customers kind of sees how it all comes around. They're like, how much do we
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Can you say that one last time, what you just said?
Yeah, you talking about to me?
Are you
or
talking to Wally, Lena?
Yeah, I'm talking to Wally. The last part he said that.
Okay, well, from my real estate background, and this applies to everybody that's on this call, what's going on nationwide, the insurance industry and the mortgage industry want to get away from your standard 3-tab composite asphalt shingle. They just don't want to deal with them anymore. And one of the ways they're doing that is when a home changes hands, that's when they jump in and go, well, I'm not insuring your roof. I'm sorry. It's got 3 years left, so I'm not doing it. So you're SOL. So it's jamming up my industry in terms of the real estate. So it's going to be nationwide. That's just a fact. Everybody's going to have this. If we have an opportunity to sell them solar, put them on a brand new architectural dimensional shingle, which Joe, you know, those are much better quality shingles. They no longer do felt paper anymore. It's all the rubber. And the insurance companies want that rubberized underlayment with a 50-year Owens Corning shingle on every roof in America. So that's just trending. So if we can go in and get that customer to be able to do that new roof with a 50-year warranty, by the way, from Owens Corning and solar, and the appraiser appraises the value to offset the cost of the roof, Lena, you're a rock star.
Well,
so I'm in the roofing industry. So I network a lot with realtors. That's why I was asking you that too, because maybe this is something that I can talk to my realtors about too. Because out here, there's a lot of 3-tabs and then organic 3-tab shingles too. And you're right, the insurance companies are buying them left and right because they want to get rid of those shingles. Yeah, that's why I wanted you to repeat that.
But I do want to mention this. Insurance companies are kind of tough to deal with, but when you do what you do, it's Lena, right?
Yes.
Okay, Lena, when you do what you do, you have the magic ability to communicate with the insurance companies and make them pay for this stuff. However you guys do it, you're good at it. So continue to lean on that.
90% of my, I would say 90% of my work here is insurance. So I mean, we get a lot of hail here. So hail and wind.
And what I'm saying though is a guy like me, when I have a customer that needs a roof and we call their insurance company's like, yeah, we don't cover that. Like that's it.
Right.
Then maybe that's what Wally's experiencing. But whenever I get someone like you that knows how to preface those conversations, they end up paying out almost every time. So what I'm saying is use your ability to do that, you know, until this stuff becomes more streamlined. That's an easier thing. However, to bring up what Wally's saying, he's saying, look, put the roof on the deal, because the way the tax credit works is if we have to repair that roof to house the solar, that gets to be part of that total job price.
Okay.
So what that means is they're getting a 26% discount off of that whole price through their tax credit. So they just got a 26% discount on a roof they were going to replace anyways.
Right.
And they got to put it into a financing that goes way longer than you would ever be able to do with a normal roof. You wouldn't be able to finance a normal roof that far out and on these kind of terms. They just don't have that kind of financing. So you're bundling it in, you're dropping their roof cost, you know, 26%. If it's on a refi, then they're just kind of accounting for it within that whole thing. And the whole reason that can happen is because of the solar. And the solar is just going to zero out and save them money on a current bill that they already have. So the solar breaks even, and then it brings all this goodness to everything else. Does that make sense? I see Wally thinking about the way I worded that. Does that make sense, Wally?
It makes a lot of sense. Now, I got a question for Lena. You've got a insurance claim you're working with to put a new roof on somebody, and you bring in a solar specialist and you package the solar along with the new roof. The insurance company pays for the new roof, and then the consumer gets the solar. There's a way to marry those two together as well, I think.
Right. Right. They have to have a new roof. Now, I know that with solar, they get a warranty on that roof as well, too, from my understanding, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that works, because we give our own warranty here. So I already have a few customers that are interested in me breaking everything down for them. And one of them is actually really interested in getting solar. So how does that work as far as the warranty? If we offer a warranty, but once we put the solar on there, if something were to happen, does the solar, how does the warranties work?
Well, so that's a really good question. It depends on the finance product you use, really, how those warranties work. However, we do have warranties on it. So as on our end of the deal, if we do an install and the roof warranty stays in place, then we're going to allow that warranty to do what it does. However, on residential, a lot of times, if we don't talk to the roofing company previously, when we go and we do the solar work on that roof, a lot of times it voids the warranty to the roof company.
It does.
Right? And
Yep.
so that's why we have a warranty on any of the penetrations or any of the work we do. There's a warranty there for that reason. So if there's ever an issue there, yeah, we'll call the roof company and say, hey, do you guys still warranty this? We did solar on it a year ago. And if they're like, no, then say, okay, it's on us, right? And so that's why those warranties are there. But if you can have it, like I've had conversations with roofing companies over the years where I've said, hey, we're going to be doing a lot of solar in this area. I know you guys did the roofs. Is there a way we can keep those warranties intact? And it's funny how it works. Sometimes they'll be like, look, as you do these, if you find people that need new roofs, if you refer those to us, we'll allow all those warranties to stay in place. It's like becomes a bartering system. Like, okay, great. But if those warranties are going to be gone, that is the reason we warranty all the workmanship. It's for that.
Yeah, because we offer a 5-year workmanship, but they're really funny about it. If somebody else touches the roof, they void the warranty. And that's why I was asking that.
Yep. And 5-year, I mean, our warranty's longer than that anyways.
Yeah, I heard it was 25. Is that accurate or?
10 to 25 on the roof penetration, depending what you're doing. But we're pushing for everything to be 25.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay.
So
That sounds good.
The roof's the thing's going to be warranted either way. The amount of insurance behind all of these, including I'm talking for the roof company and us, the amount of insurance behind it is big. So if there ever is a mishap, like it's pretty easy to clear it up. It's all
now I heard Wally earlier talking about this program. What did you say it was? PACE or?
PACE.
Okay, so is that something? What's the website called? Is that something that I should look into in my area?
And you are in Texas, right?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Why did I think you were in Texas?
You're close. That was close.
No, she was in Texas. She was in Texas, I think.
No.
No?
Yeah.
I'm from California. You were close.
He's working with TC.
I don't know what's going on, you guys.
No, I'm in Nebraska, but I work in roofing. I work the Iowa and Nebraska area.
Got it. Okay. So no, it's not where you are yet, but the refi stuff is or is coming soon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Thanks for answering my question.
The refi thing will be, I think, really good for where you are, actually. You know.
Perfect. Thanks.
And nobody's doing that out there. I mean, well, nobody's doing what you can do in Nebraska anyways, but.
Look, next time you're going to remember I'm in Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Texas.
Maybe because I'm from California. I don't know.
Yeah, you're from California, so I thought for sure you're from Texas.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. I apologize for that, Lena. But yes, great question. So these are all things that these aren't set trainings, you guys. This is just the way this thing moves. I mean, in a month from now, we could be having a different conversation about a lot of this stuff. It's just the industry itself, especially when you guys are in somewhat newer areas, it's reacting to us coming there, right? And we're doing some things, and then it's like, whoa, here's how we want to handle it, and then another thing jumps out. That's what Joe's going through some of that with Illinois right now. They're like, how do we want to and then he got hit with all this regulation that was just over the top. But this is how it goes. We come up with solutions, it gets smooth, and you'll see that part of it happen. On the flip side, again, Lena, in where you are in Nebraska, these things aren't there yet. And so I'm talking about PPAs, leases, any of the service agreements, right? What that means is that they're on a service agreement. The customer doesn't technically own that system. That sounds backwards. I actually love these. I love them. And it's because all the things you're talking about as far as warranties, guarantees, roof protection, all that stuff is just made very easy because it's not the customer's responsibility. They don't own it. It's owned by the funding entity. And because of that, you got to understand when it's on a service agreement, they are making money based on that system producing energy. So if it goes down, they're not rushing out there to fix it just because it's in the warranty. They're rushing out there and fixing it because they have skin in the game. They're not getting anything out of it if it stops, right? So that is the main, fundamentally, I like that. I like that it's not hurting, that it could go down, and these customers have a guarantee on production on these service agreements saying, hey, if for some reason it doesn't generate the amount of energy we thought it would, you're going to get a reimbursement on that. Okay, it's a production guarantee, and the only ones that are taking a jab is the actual funding company. So they're highly motivated to keep these things running at a high level. And that warranties are very good. They all speak the same. It's going to get fixed. But I like the fact that if it doesn't work, they're the ones feeling it. I just like that. That's if you've been around business long enough, that whole
Yeah, I would want to
an
be
obligation anymore. They're there to stop their own bleeding, right? And that's what
I would want to be out of the roofing part too, if I could.
Yeah. So, Joe, they are available, and I don't know about everywhere, but in ComEd, yes, for sure. And I'm going to try to get you some options as well as Wally that are viable there. They won't go through the app that we're using right now. This is part of the training. They're not in that app. So we're going to have to, you're just going to have to send me the info on those. I'll kick it back to you. I'm in the middle of making an app that's not, it's not like the app you're using. It's just where you fill in the information. It'll automatically come back to someone that'll send you out the proposal, okay? And it actually works really smooth. I think you might find it somewhat easier because you don't have to do any of the building yourself. Go ahead, Wally.
Question on a service agreement. Does that increase the value of the home on those studies that we're looking at or not, since it's really not an owner thing?
I claim it doesn't. I say, look, this doesn't hold value but it can. So here's what it is. Are you asking if they sell their house or, okay. So if they sell their house, there's a choice. You know, there's an outstanding balance for the agreement, right? And you can wrap that in you can just have the whole thing paid off when the house gets bought. So yes, in that case, it adds value, okay? But with those, you have the option you have the option to just roll the service agreement over. You come off it and they start it. In that case, technically they don't own it, so they don't get the value, right? What I will say is even on those service agreements, when they do roll them to the new owners, even when that happens, the real estate agents are selling them for more and they're selling them faster. Can I say that the value of that system as an ownership thing adds value to that property? Technically, I can't say that.
Okay.
But what I can say is if you're just rolling it over to the new people, they're picking up the service where the old homeowner left off. It's an easy transition, by the way. And I can also say that, and this is another reason, understand this is general, this is California. The people that I've asked about it are getting about $10,000 extra out of it and selling those houses faster.
Okay.
That's my market. That's my market. I can't speak to the other ones quite yet.
Okay. So you talk about it's just kind of a transfer. So, you know, the seller sells the house, the buyer buys the house, they call the power company, they transfer the power. Is this a similar situation? They contact the service company and transfer the service? Is it that simple?
It is, but you got to call them beforehand.
Right. I know. Yeah, I know.
So Wally, you're a real estate guy. So what's going to happen is that solar funding group is going to send some stuff to the customer. Put it right into your paperwork. Typically, it's a 1 or 2 pager. They just sign off with all those other thousands of.
Okay, and it's just a straight up transfer, and it's part of their monthly expenses. They got a payment to PPA, ABC, and then they got a payment to their electric company.
Yeah. So you as a real estate agent, if you're the one actually selling that house,
right,
you're going to advertise it. Hey, this is a solar home. The utility here costs this much. But the cool thing is the electricity here only costs this much. Come check it out. And then people people that want that, there's enough people searching for houses and they want solar, they'll kind of know what that is. And those are the people that come. And that's why you sell it faster too, is because they kind of have a predetermined notion of that, right?
Okay.
And so if you do it wrong, Wally, it's going to be a pain in your behind. If you don't mention it and you don't use it as a good thing, like you'll get a ton of people showing up that are like, do I have to have that? Do I have to have that? I don't know anything about it. And now you got to sell them the house and the solar. So when you advertise it that way, you get the people that they already know what's going on.
Right.
So yeah, if that helps you, there's a lot of real estate agents in California that hate solar, and it just blows my mind. Like, you guys, not only should you love it, but you should all be making extra. Different conversation for a different day. But yes, the service agreements, the people don't technically own them. One thing that's important to know is that a lot of people get hung up on this decision. Do I want to own it, or do I want to do a service agreement? What should I do? And you don't want your customers in that point of trying to make that decision. All of a sudden it feels like a big decision. Okay. So I tell them, look, it's okay. We know how all this works. The only reason you want to go back and forth on this is, one, if you think your tax situation, if you don't want to mess with your taxes, if you don't want to get the tax credit and do all that, do the service agreement. If you really want to own it in your name and hold that ownership, you'll wait 5 years and then you can. Whoever collects the tax credit, in this case, the funding group, has to hold ownership of it for 5 years, okay? Or pay it down, okay? But if they're holding it, they got to show that it's 5 years theirs, and then they can release it, okay? And I hope I think that's federal. I hope I'm not saying a California thing there. But I do know after 5 years, it's kind of custom that they're all set to be able to just own it. At that point, they would credit anything that's
a little bit of
5 years and just reemphasize as a ownership loan versus whatever was on the service agreement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this is where homeowners start getting tricky. They'll be like, oh, so at 5 years, can I, if there's a tax credit available, can I take it? No, they already took it and they put it into your price. This is the way you net the tax credit if you don't think you're going to get it. Okay. And then finally, the one that's available to everybody is a straight purchase. We have it. The Easy Solar Loan, you guys, is backed up. It's backed up. Joe's finding this out right now. This is a live issue. This wasn't an issue, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. Easy Solar Loan's backed up. So if you have the other loan options in your area, Enium, Loan Pal, and any of the ones that'll show up, if it's available, if you want speed, you're just going to want to pick one. Easy Solar Loan pencils pretty good because it's low on fees. It's not the very best, but it's low, very, very low on any other fees. So it pencils pretty good. But I would say in this case, 2 weeks is too long to try to process that. I would jump to whatever's the next best deal, just for the speed of it, because it's still a good deal. Okay. And that's on the purchase. You all have access to those. They all have their own process. We're dealing with banks. So the very easiest thing for you to do is find the next best deal. Now, do you guys all know how to do this in the app? If you don't, please let me know and we'll sidebar it. Everybody does know. Okay, so when you go in and you choose the finance option, just use the same deal. Just play with it. Which one's creating the best payment, right? I would skip Easy Solar Loan for probably 2 or 3 weeks and then come back to it. Joe, if you like it, I think 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be back to normal. But go in there and just see which one is going to give you the best monthly payment after, second place. And then just go straight to the help desk in the app find that loan and then watch a little video. It's probably 20 minutes. Some of them are 30 minutes. It tells you exactly what to do. And so you can be familiar with it. You'll notice that all these processes are pretty much like 90% the same. What you'll need is some specific phone numbers, some things like that, okay? But Joe, everything I just said for you, I'm just telling you to go straight to the Enneam if it's available, okay? It just solves all of the tumultuous stuff that's happening right now. It just buys you a year to fix all that, okay? Totally worth it right now for you. So I would, anything that's available there. And I actually love that. Like I said, I love that deal. And I really like that company as far as just customer experience. They've been very good. So that being said, let's do a quick little tester here. It's a little difficult here because Lena, Max, Tony, where you guys are going to be, it's all the straight loan. So what you have available is the loan systems, and you will have the green refinance coming to you, okay? There is a refinance currently inside the app. You can use that too, but the one I'm referring to is separate from it, okay? It's a different one. Okay. And it's a lot more specific to just us. It's actually a pretty good competitive advantage. No one's using it like this yet. We're on the front of that deal. Okay. So Wally, for you, it's a leg up big time because no other solar guys in your market are using that particular situation. It's not developed.
The green refi
for us yet, huh?
The green refi.
Yeah, it's not developed for solar people yet. It is because I did it. It is because I did it, but it exists in the real estate world, but nobody's messing with it. They don't. It's like it'll be a few years before anyone has the light bulb go off in your market.
Well, they're going to in my market rather quickly. By the end of 2021, when I'm no longer doing real estate and all I'm doing is solar grids, I will have a stable of real estate agents doing this and roofing contractors.
I'm talking about the competition. They're not.
That's what I'm saying. They're not even going. I'm going to blow them away. The roofing this is my mind is about to explode.
Yeah, we have. I could almost predict the future in your market. It's so similar to what I'm dealing. Yeah. Anyways, you guys, before we jump off here, we've got 5 minutes on basic information from purchase, and then service agreements, which are lease and power purchase agreements, refi option, and possibly PACE. Does anyone have any questions regarding those that is going to help them out immediately?
I do have a quick question, Jeremy. When you do a manual proposal, for example, I took a picture of a utility bill that only showed 1 month of charges, right? And I did a manual proposal against it. It doesn't really come back with the ability to break out the financials the way that a holographic generated proposal does. So how do you deal with that?
That's a good question.
After the proposal's made and sent to you, then you can go back and readjust it.
Well, you can't really make the same adjustments as you can with a holographic generated proposal. It doesn't give you the access to do that.
Are you talking about the panels?
The panels, yes. The financials for setting commission level, the breakdown of everything. That's just not allowed.
The financials should be adjustable.
The only thing that you have adjustable is the amount of so-called price increase or decrease on the front page.
You go in, you switch it, and then you send it back to them, and then they'll send it back to you redone.
Yeah, just if you can't control a piece of it, they're really responsive in this way. Just go right back to that message board and say, hey, I need it changed.
Right.
Now,
okay.
Because they already have it created, it comes back really fast.
Okay.
And you can do that however many times you want. Or they'll say, oh, sorry, that should be able to be accessed this way, and they'll tell you.
Okay.
So you'll get one of two. That is something that doing things inside of that app has been really good, is that like that message board it's a catch-all, but it works. Like they're responsive.
Okay.
They don't always give you the answers you like, right, Joe? But they respond.
Yeah, that's true.
But they do respond. And if it's a manual proposal, that's like pretty easy, because once they've created it, it takes them 2 seconds to make an adjustment, and it'll just change. Yeah, you'll see it change.
You also don't have the insight into what they sent that initial proposal back at in terms of your commission level or the strategy that they use to calculate by. I'm assuming, and this could be wrong on my part, I'm assuming they took that 1 month of usage and just averaged it across the year, the same amount of usage.
I actually don't quite understand the question you're asking right there.
Okay, so since I did not provide them with a full year's data to do the proposal with, and they came back with from a 1 month usage utility bill, I'm assuming that they just used that 1 month and said every month is relatively close to or the same.
I think what they're doing is they're just doing an average, like when you do a 3D one and it automatically populates a system. That's an average system for that area. That's probably what you're getting.
Okay.
So you actually need to drive that. You need to say, hey, I've noticed I don't have the full year, but I estimate the annual usage to be, please make the proposal with this much annual usage at this price. And they'll dial it all in. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks, Tony. That was actually a really useful question. Thank you. Do we have any other questions that's going to help you guys immediately?
No, so
One-off
just
stuff. We got some one-off stuff for Joe and some one-off for Wally that we'll handle after this. But guys, hey, I appreciate you guys being on these. I like seeing the progression with this group. Last time we did these trainings, it was how does a purchase work? What is a PPA? What is a lease? You know, what is all this stuff? And the conversation has changed to how do we manage it? What are the best ways? What's the most efficient thing I can do? And that shows me that we're right on with your guys' growth in this thing. And I appreciate you being on here and being part of the ongoing learning, because it'll keep throwing some little things at us. But that's I appreciate it, guys. Wally, we'll jump on here in just a minute. You have time, right, for us to
Yeah, I've got time. I made time for you.
Okay, we'll jump on in just a minute. Everyone else, we're all good. And then Joe, sync up with me a little bit later if you can.
See you, Tony.
I got a quick question for Jeremy real fast.
Real quick. All right, let's go.
Instead of trying to bring this gentleman into a class where we might have a conflict, would you feel better about having a personal phone call from him?
Tony, I'll do either one, but if he wants to kind of assess the way these trainings are, let's let him on one.
Okay.
All
right.
You know, we have to be a little bit careful is all I'm saying. There's, and this might sound jaded, but it's because it is.
That's okay.
There in the past, some people pretend to be something and they just literally steal your stuff, right? I don't think that anyone you bring on here would be that guy. I'm not really worried about it, but we're just trying to protect some things that give us competitive advantages that I freely share on these. So that's all it is.
Cool.
I'm not worried. It's just kind of more policy and making sure we're being smart.
All right. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Either way, whatever's more comfortable. So.
See you guys later.
But I do think if he's assessing trainings, have him come on one. We're good.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy. Wally, I'm going to jump off. And then, do you want to jump back on?
Sure. How do I do that? Just Go.
I'm just going to end it and jump back. Well, actually, here we go.